Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Eve. Eve is one of the most recognizable names in the Western world. She was the first woman created on earth in Genesis 2 verse 22, from Adam's ribs. Hey, it's better than being formed out of the dust from the ground as Adam was. The name from the Bible is derived from the Hebrew word Havva, which means living, animal. Adam names Eve himself in Genesis 3 verse 20. The man called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Eve is also notable for her major faux pas in the Garden of Eden, when she listened to that pesky serpent and ate a piece of forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, despite God's clear instructions not to. Okay, so maybe faux pas is an understatement. This act got Adam and Eve expulsed from the garden, and the rest is biblical history. It is for this reason that the name Eve was not heavily used in medieval times. Her naughty act was seen as too off-putting for the average folk. It really wasn't until the 19th century that English speakers and other Europeans finally embraced this mother of all names. Eve and Eve are generally considered the English and French form of the name, while Eva is the biblical Latin form used widely as well, particularly among Germans, Scandinavians, and Slavs. Shava and Havva are the Hebrew forms, while other variations include Hawa, Arabic, Yeva, Russian, Ava, Polish, Iba, Gaelic, and Aoife, Welsh. Evie is the darling English diminutive. Today, Eve is a top 100 favorite girl's name in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Australia. Personality of the girl name Eve. The number 5 personality loves the excitement of life and can easily adapt to all situations. As natural adventurers, these personalities thrive on the new and unexpected and prefer to be in constant motion. It makes them feel alive. They'll stir up some action if there's not enough around, and as inherent risk takers, they enjoy pushing the envelope. Naturally rebellious, the 5 personality has no fear and never resists change. Traveling and new experiences feed their souls. 5s are very social and attract friends with ease. People love to be around the 5 fun-loving and exciting energy. This is also a lucky number in numerology, like the 3s, so fortune seems to shine on them, helped along by their own optimism and good nature. 5s have a quick wit, a cerebral mind, and are generally very persuasive. Popularity of the girl name Eve. The name Eve dates back to at least the late 19th century in America. For the past 100 years, the name's popularity has been low to mild at best. In fact, Eve disappeared completely from the charts during the mid-1980s up through the late 1990s, during which time she was nowhere to be found. We would have expected to see greater historical success with a name like Eve. At least she's back now, but still on the lower end of moderation. She's living in the shadows of Ava, a somewhat related name. Even Eva is a top 100 favorite, but the one-syllable Eve is still pretty neglected. Eve could also be considered a short form for names like Evelyn and Evangeline, but these two names have different etymologies. In our opinion, Eve is a timeless ancient classic. It's also underused and therefore more original than Ava or Eva. Eve is strong, if a bit rebellious, and confident while retaining a humble and unpretentious quality. And Evie is one of the cutest pet forms out there. Despite Eve's rather, disobedient behavior in the Bible, God still loved her, and so do we. Quick facts on Eve. Gender, girl. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 1. Ranking popularity, 490. Pronunciation, EEV. Simple meaning, mother of all living. Characteristics of Eve. Adventurous, intellectual, progressive, freedom-loving, adaptable, easygoing, sensual. Cultural references to the baby name Eve. Literary characters of the baby name Eve. Eve Harrington is the delicious titular villainess in the 1950 film, All About Eve, based on Mary Orr's 1946 short story, The Wisdom of Eve. Starring Anne Baxter, the movie was nominated for 14 Academy Awards, a record it held until 1997's Titanic. Eve is a formidably ambitious, young, aspiring actress who insinuates her way into the life of aging Broadway star Margot Channing. And by aging, they, not we, mean 40. This she does by obsequious devotion and flattery, appearing sweetly naive and starstruck, all the while plotting her ascension to Margot's throne. Along the way, she sabotages Margot's career, her friendships, and her relationship with her fiancé. All in all, quite a coup. At movie's end, Eve seems to have won it all. However, she has her own Eve waiting in the wings, ready to pull the same trick on her, and we are given to understand that Eve will get her comeuppance. She is indeed a worthy heiress of her early namesake, the biblical Eve. Popular songs on Eve. A Song by the Fall, Letter to Eve, 10 Houses of Eve, I Am Eve, a song by the Medieval Babes, a song by Jimmy Somerville, Silent Eve, Adam and Eve, Eve, a song by Paul Anka, a reggae song by Yaman, a song by the Indigo Girls. Famous people named Eve. Ave Salvale, Canadian model, Eve, singer, Eve Plum, actress, Eve Arden, actress. Historic figures with the name Eve. According to the Bible, Eve has the important distinction of being the first woman who ever existed, thus securing her position as the ultimate matriarch of all Homo sapiens. She was created in the Garden of Eden by God from the rib of Adam, hopefully assisted by an anesthesiologist for Adama sake. God presided over the young couple union in what we might consider the ultimate Gardina wedding, and he instructs them to go forth and be fruitful and multiply . At first, Adam and Eve basked in the glory of their paradise innate and unashamed Genesis 2 verse 25, although God does instruct Adam not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We wonder if Adam shared this bit of advice with Eve? Enter Talking Serpent, first nemesis to humankind, who approaches Eve with his Jedi mind tricks and convinces her to eat the fruit from the tree. After all, what is the harm of a little knowledge? Eve shrugs, grabs an apple, takes a bite and hands it to Adam. Adam, by the way, takes the second bite, so he is no beacon of obedience himself. Yet poor Eve has always gotten most of the blame for both of their indiscretion. The rest is history. As punishment, God expels them from Eden and makes life more difficult for them. Forevermore, women would be forced to bear labor pains in childbirth and man would have to labor hard for food. Now that Adam and Eve and their offspring are equipped with the knowledge of evil, the world basically goes to hell in a handbasket until God sends the great flood, sparing only Noah and his peeps.